Now, let's move on to the awards themselves. And our first award tonight, which is the Rory Peck Award for News, sponsored by Google. Our first finalist in this category is Mikhail Galistov for Inside ISIS's Final Fight. On the man, the war... I'm so sorry. I'm clearly older than I think I am because I should be wearing glasses. On the map, the war against the Islamic State may look like it is all but won, but in the River Euphrates Valley, the last remaining ISIS fighters are not giving up easily. Mikhail traveled with a group of Arab YPG fighters as they took on this final fight. So let's take a look.
Got towards the front line with a heavy weapons unit. The front line is the village of Baghouz. It's the last village still held by ISIS in eastern Syria. As you came down the road, there was incoming ISIS fire.
The years-long battle to defeat ISIS in Syria has entered its final days. The Syrian Democratic Forces, a coalition of Kurdish and Arab militias, has pushed the Islamic State into a tiny sliver of territory between the Euphrates River and the Iraqi border. The Caliphate's militants are cornered and outgunned, but their only choices left are prison or martyrdom.
هذه قتلت بواعث في مدينة السوسة وأنا بالله تسولف فيها.
The dense patchwork of orchards and farmhouses provides perfect cover for ISIS jihadists sneaking up in this isolated position.
We've been pinned down by ISIS sniper fire and now rocket fire. Even still, there's bullets pinging on the walls around us. We're extremely close and they're firing very accurately at us.
Watch out for mines, don't touch anything.
We're retreating. It's a really bad situation.
They call in airstrikes and withdraw to the nearest allied unit.
Yeah! Okay, that's our boys.
With ISIS surrounded in Baghouz, thousands of civilians, including the families of ISIS fighters, are evacuated and sent to detention camps further north. Doha's husband, an ISIS fighter, was killed in a coalition airstrike. She and her children were caught in the crossfire.
اجت قذيفة هاون على خيمة وقتلوا أولاد 3 وهدول مصوبين. وقال لنا أولادي دي يموتوا بين إيدي، أولادي دي يموتوا. قالوا لي ما في علاج. قلت لهم بدي أطلع. قال إيه روحي الله غني عنك. المهرب أخذ مني $150 لطلعني لهون.
Within days or weeks, ISIS will surrender or die in Baghouz, and the Caliphate will no longer hold territory in eastern Syria.
The remarkable thing was, given the difficulty of the conditions, given the intensity of the fighting in which he was shooting the material, it was all beautifully framed and incredibly steady. Quite often in those circumstances, the camera kind of moves around a lot as people are, as camera operators are trying to kind of track the action, but he just kept this incredibly steady camera work and let the action take place through the frame. It was remarkably powerful and beautiful to look at.
The other entries, you would see, the action taken from afar, or, you see them running behind soldiers, but this was really, taking you in the middle of the battle and also brought you some emotions from the fighters, so you could see from the dialogues what they were talking about, how they would approach, the next battle or the next steps into what they were doing.
For me, it really took you to the battlefields of Syria, but it wasn't the fighting that interested me most. It was the intimate moments when there wasn't any fighting. It was the moments, for example, when they come out with the ISIS flag upside down. It was a drag on a cigarette before a shot is fired, and of course that amazing shot of the moon.
Our next news finalist is the Spanish freelancer Miquel Conati, and indeed, I have to tell you, it's the second year that Miquel has reached the finalists in this category, which is some achievement in and of itself. This year, Miquel's report takes us to eastern Syria. At Al-Hol camp, 70,000 people are displaced and have taken refuge, fleeing from ISIS in its final days. Miquel gains the trust of those he meets, recording their experiences. Now, the judges commented on the strong imagery. Let's have a watch.
أيوة من الانفجار.
هو وقع يمنا هاون كليتنا صوبنا.
إصبع واحد قطعوه، وهذا الكبير هذا بلاتين.
علاش الصور؟ علاش؟
I thought it was really extraordinary footage from the very first startling shot. There were some beautiful images, and I think it really conveyed the human cost of war, no matter which side you're on.
What stood out for me is his attention to detail. A shot of a young boy sitting in his cot, seen through the bars of the cot, struggling to breathe. Eyes without any joy in them, obviously deeply traumatized children.
One of the most powerful aspects of this entry was, even though I don't think there was much or any actual fighting shots, you just got this incredible sense of the loss of war and the human cost of war, especially with the shots of the children and also the woman with the spike for her hand. It was incredibly powerful without seeing much actual action.
The other thing that I thought was really unique in this piece was the fact that it brought a complete different perspective to the reporting, which was that the Christian community and how they were, dealing with the war. And I just thought that was completely unique to all the pieces we saw on that wall.
And finally, also in this category, is Nicaraguan freelancer Luis Sequeira. In April 2018, protesters erupted against government social security reforms in Nicaragua, and the protest rapidly ballooned into a larger movement against the government. Luis found himself in the midst of it, and he takes up the story. So let's have a look at his work.
aleluya, hace huir al enemigo, porque nosotros alabamos a un Cristo de poder.
¿Por qué te llevan? ¿Por qué te llevan?
Porque protesto. ¡Viva Nicaragua! ¡Nicaragua va a ser libre!
What really struck me about this entry was its distinctiveness. There were a lot of entries about the fall of ISIS and Yemen and Sudan, but this was something that really hadn't been covered that much this past year, and it was covered here in the most kind of powerful and stunning and very tragic way.
I thought he really shone a light on a story that a lot of people know nothing about, and even without any narration, he told the story through his images. I thought it was very intimate. I thought there was a lot of passion there. The passion of the protesters was shown. The pain of their loss was all too evident. And clearly, at great personal cost, he demonstrated his commitment to telling a story that mattered a lot to him. And that really came over.
He brings the viewer right into the heart of the action. You can feel the protesters' fear. It's palpable. The close-up of the protesters' faces are amazing.
I think he was also shooting with so much humanity. His characters obviously trusted him and allowed him into their most intimate moments, whether it was a funeral or a reunion. The hugging through the fence was a shot that really stuck with me. I think his work just showed a maturity and a level-headedness and a creativity that was really exciting.
Such extraordinary work from all three finalists. Congratulations, really. To tell us who has won the Rory Peck Award for News, sponsored by Google, please welcome to the stage a very special guest. It's my pleasure to welcome up the founder and chief executive of the Bianca Jagger Human Rights Foundation, Ms. Bianca Jagger.
Good evening. It is my privilege to be presenting this award. And I'm particularly happy to say that the winner is Luis Sequeira.
Well, to be honest, I'm not even prepared. I don't even know what to say. So, thank you very much. Thanks God. It's pretty hard to work in this kind of environment when the government follows the independent media, when you are being followed by people that you don't even know, but they're following you to either threat you or we don't even know what they want to say to do with us. So I would like to thank all my colleagues in Nicaragua, in special one of my good friends, Osvaldo Rivas. He was always with me, and this award is not only for me, this award is for all the Nicaraguan people who has fought for the democracy that we are waiting, that we are looking for. And I want to say that if we respect each other, if we tolerate each other, the world is going to be different. So thank you very much, and I don't know, thank you.
Viva Nicaragua!
Congratulations to Luis. Now, as part of a long-standing tradition, many of you will be well familiar with this bit. Here at the Rory Peck Awards, we'd like, of course, to invite up the other finalists on stage to say a few words as well. Every one of them rightly deserves recognition. Unfortunately, Mikhail Golostov can't be with us this evening, but please welcome our other finalist, of course, Mikhail Konarty. Mikhail, come on up.
Well, good evening. It's great to be here again. I would like to thank to the people from Reuters, to Helen Long, to Sohei Afje, and to Vasilis Triandafilou, to the help and the trust they put on me. Also to John Davison, part of this story is yours, man, and it was great to work together. Independent journalism, for me, is the essence of journalism. Having the privilege of going to places, of knowing, of going deeply into things, to the causes and consequences of the stories that happens around the globe. This has always been a great reason to dedicate myself to this beautiful profession, trying always to keep my independence, always as a freelance. We, freelancers, we do it for meaning and purpose, despite hardship and risk. But the truth is that it's hard to find stability, and year by year, the precariousness of the profession make it more and more difficult. And without your support, we are unfortunately about to disappear. That's why I want to emphasize here tonight the value of independent reporting, its informative utility, its credibility, the responsibility and quality that we contribute to this task. Because of that, I would like to give a special thanks to the people from the Rory Peck Trust that in this difficult time for us, they continue bet on this award that recognizes the work of all these professionals. Thank you very much.
Really well said, Mikhail, and congratulations to all the news finalists, and a big thank you to, of course, Bianca Jagger and to Google for sponsoring the award. Now, on to the Rory Peck Award.